This is a Cincy fan talking with LP. You can catch me on Twitter. That's a Cincy fan talking. You say it like it sounds, just leave off the G. If you have ideas for the show, you can reach me at Cincy_fan talk at yahoo.com. If you have any suggestions for the show, make sure you leave them there. Who knows, you might find yourself as part of the show. Any feedback would be definitely appreciated. And also, make sure you hit the Linktree page that's on my Twitter. Make sure you click on that. You can find all the different ways to contact me there. Enjoy the show. What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody out there? Welcome to another episode of A Cincy Fan Talking with LP. And of course, this is LP coming to you live and direct. Happy that it's about to be Thanksgiving. Happy that it's officially Michigan week. Some people call it hate week. Uh, it's that deep, but it is levels to it, and we're gonna get into that in a second. Appreciate y'all stopping by the pod. Real exciting week over here, so we're gonna go ahead and hop into it. You know it's a big week when you got the Bengals playing the Steelers, and I'm not really even discussing that because to me, I feel like not that situation to play itself out, but it's Michigan week, man. Like it's Michigan week, and you got Ohio State at Michigan on Saturday. They basically playing for the Big Ten East title. Winner probably be going against Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game, which would be a tussle in and of itself. But I mean, my history with the Michigan hate goes deep. Like you talking to somebody who's an Ohio State grad, whose wife is an Ohio State grad, stepdaughter's up at Ohio State as we speak. I mean, my first kid was born in Ohio State Hospital. I mean, like it's levels to my hatred of Michigan, and I mean that's the way it should be. I'm extremely happy to say that. Like my youngest daughter is 8, and she don't know what it's like for Michigan to beat Ohio State. She's never seen it happen in her lifetime. And I'm hoping the streak continues. Being a realist, though, and this is just me being an absolute realist, I'm not putting stuff into the atmosphere. This is stuff I pretty much say and think every single year just because of where we've been with the rivalry. Like, at some point, the streak has to end. Every year, we're like, don't let it be this year. You feel me? So we just hope that this streak keeps extending forever and forever and forever. The ball bounces weird ways in this whole rivalry. Ohio State has faced Michigan with some talented teams, and they were supposed to just beat the tar out of Michigan, and it didn't happen because once this game starts, none of the stuff that happened before matters. You know, Ohio State 10-1, looking great. Michigan's looking great too. They out here doing their thing. They're not going to be favored to win. They're going to be an underdog. But once the game starts, you basically playing a team that you know intimately and that you hate. Anything can happen. And for me, like I said, I've never liked Michigan. Now, I got to be honest though. There was that time period in the early 90s where everybody was a Michigan fan. I mean, you had to respect the Fab Five. So if you catch some of my photos, some of my pics in the early 90s, you might see me with the Michigan starter or the Michigan jersey. Jalen Rose still my guy. Like for real, I'm a big Jalen Rose fan, but I don't like Michigan. There's there's aspects to the rivalry that if you're an Ohio State fan, I feel like you respect and appreciate. Now you don't like Michigan. You hate Michigan. But there's that level of respect that's there for Michigan because we were them in the 90s, 2000s. We were the ones getting our teeth kicked in every single year. We were like, okay, this is the year. We looking great. We doing our thing. We undefeated. We ranked number 3. Michigan's trash, and they beat us. John Cooper was 2-10-1 against Michigan. 13 games, 2 wins. It was miserable to be a fan back then. Like you just kept going like, okay, this the year. No, we got our squad, we got the wide receivers, we got the quarterback, we got the running back, our defense is set, we got this. And then some no-name running back from Michigan will just come through and run for 313 yards. Yeah, I remember the total. Another L. So when I say the respect factor is there, it's because as Ohio State fans, we realize innately that in this rivalry, sometimes you're the hammer and sometimes you're the nail. And for the past 17 meetings, we've been the hammer, and it's all gravy. And I expect Ohio State to win this game. I really do. I expect them to win by at least 1 point. Hey, if it's more, if it's 20, if it's 25, that's cool. But I expect them to win by at least 1 point. You would be a fool as an Ohio State or a Michigan fan to go like, yeah, we about to blow them out. We about to win by 20, about to win by 25. If it happens, that's cool. We'll take it. But you don't go into a game expecting to blow your hated rival out. This game about to be grimy and dirty and all types of mess talking, and it's going to be real out there. So you just want to win. It doesn't matter how ugly it is. You're not looking for style points. You're not even thinking about any game after it. This is the one that matters. Me and the wife, we've always said this, and we've had friends from other schools or whatever that ask us this. If Ohio State lost every single game, but they beat Michigan, is it a good season? And our response is quick. It ain't a bad season. like it ain't necessarily a horrible season. Now, by Ohio State standards, it would be ugly. Losing every single game, but that one dub, if you had to pick the one to win, oh, you picking Michigan all day because that's the team you want to be. We literally, once the game stops, Ohio State fans automatically think about the one next year. Be like, dang, that's a good win. Yeah, I can't wait to do it again next year. And this is what I think. This is where I think the rivalry started switching from Michigan to Ohio State because I think Lloyd Carr and the coaches before him, they had that mindset. They were like, look, our Rose Bowl, our bowl of the year is Ohio State. We prep for that game. The other games matter, but they would reiterate this game matters more than all the rest of them. They would put it out there like that. I don't think John Cooper did that, and it showed in the way that Ohio State prepared for the game, and that's why we looked the way we looked when we played Michigan. Once Jim Tressel came in, his first speech stated that his goal was to beat Michigan. That was his first speech. That's what he said first. He came out at an Ohio State basketball game and let people know we here to build strong young men and we here to beat Michigan. Flat out. From that moment, everything changed because the goals were set. Sure, you want to get to the Rose Bowl. Sure, you want to get to the BCS. Sure, you want to get to the CFP. You want all of that. Beating the team that you hate the most matters. And I don't think it mattered to Ohio State for a little while there. They kind of had their eyes set on bigger and better things. But Jim Tressel came through and laid the smackdown. There is no better thing than beating Michigan. That's why you come to this school. From that moment, the rivalry shifted. Then you had Urban Meyer, same credo. Now you got Ryan Day, same credo. And I feel like Jim Harbaugh, he has to feel like that. He was born into this. He made his name from this. So I feel like he understands that. I just don't think he's prepped the way that he's supposed to for a game like this. I think he's starting to this year. You know, they got the whole beat Ohio drill and all of that. But what Ohio State does is every practice, there's like a 45-minute window where they're prepping for Michigan. Like it's that real. It is that serious. And I feel like you'll see in this game that Ohio State's talent will be, you'll see the talent is there and it's a little bit better than Michigan's. But I think at some point, you'll just see that Ohio State wants it more. And that's what's been getting them over. At some point, this will change. I feel like you're starting to see it more from the Michigan players now. You're starting to see we're going to this school to beat Ohio State. Like you're starting to see that. But they're a little bit back from where Ohio State is. We've been recruiting people to beat Michigan since Tressel came in. Like specifically to beat Michigan. If you're here, you want to beat Michigan. We've had so many players stay an extra year to get another win against Michigan, and it's insane. So I don't know what other people feel about this game. I feel like it'll be a good game. I feel like it'll be a better game than the past two have been. I do think Ohio State will get the win. As long as they win, I don't care how. I really don't care what it looks like. I just want them to pull it out. I don't care if CJ Stroud throws for 30 yards and runs for 198. I don't care if the offense scores a single point and the defense shuts people down and we have to kick off field goals and we win 9-6. I do not care. As long as Ohio State gets the dub and beats Michigan. That's what the whole season has been for us. Last year it was beat Michigan and beat Clemson because we really hated Clemson. So it was like beat Michigan and beat Clemson. Ohio State and Michigan didn't play each other. And I don't care what anybody says. Michigan wasn't scared to play us. It wasn't that. That the team was COVID got them. Sure, they were 30-point underdogs and all of that. But you can't tell me all of the Michigan players and the coach and the AD was like, man, Ohio State might stomp us out, man. We can't play. Now you go to Michigan to try to beat Ohio State. That's what you're there for. So for them to just say, now we're just going to roll over, that makes absolutely no sense. Especially when you look at this rivalry and teams worse than Michigan's edition last year beat teams better than Ohio State's edition last year. So now I ain't really buying that. I mean, I said that last year. It makes no sense. I don't think Michigan had a chance in hell last year, but that doesn't mean that they weren't going to play the game because, like I said, anything can happen. I feel like this will be a good game. Um, expect a controversial call or two. I mean, that's the nature of the business. That's the nature of the game. But if I had to put a score on it, my score is Ohio State 2, Michigan nothing. Hey, because I don't care about the score. So I'm not about to predict a 34-28 and none of that because I don't really care. Get the dub. That's really what it's about out here. So, hey, I'm real excited about the game. This will be, I think, one of the better ones that we've seen. Go Bucks. Beat that team up north. That's what we want. You got a Cincy fan talking with LP? We'll be right back in a second.
Hi, hi. I'm Princess and I'm Queen. This is Daddy.
You have to say, and this is a Cincy fan talking with LP.
And this is a sensitive friend talking with LP Daddy.
Nice job.
Mm-hmm.
What's up? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to a Cincy fan talking with LP, and of course, this is yours truly, LP. We're gonna switch gears a little bit and talk a tad bit about school type things. I saw a video a little while ago where this young boy, this young guy, was talking about how he didn't understand why teachers gave out homework. A lot of people agree with him. You had some people that was like, "Oh, what you crying about?" People always got to do homework. Um, Basically, what he was saying was he didn't understand why teachers assign homework when you had so much time in school to do the work. And he was like, teachers do this to torture us. They do this because this, that, and the third. And me watching that video, as a teacher, I'm looking like, for one, I had no beef with the kid whatsoever. He has a question, and that's the thing about teachers. And I feel like this should be the same thing with adults. If you see that a kid has a question, they're expressing that they don't understand something. Like he didn't understand why he had to do homework. No matter how weird you think the question is, he doesn't understand something. It would be like if you picked up the remote control and was like, why do these buttons work the way that they do? There could be 17 people in the room that's going like, how you don't know that? But that doesn't change the fact that that person doesn't know how the remote control works. Somebody needs to explain it to him so he can know how the remote control works. Because if not, that's going to be his or her question all the time. Same case with this little guy. He's like, I don't understand why we have homework. I feel like it would be the job of the teacher to explain from the beginning why you're giving out homework. Now, it might seem a little silly, but in order to get kids to buy in, you got to explain why they're doing stuff. I feel like that's the number one thing about having people do things for you, period. It could be you as a coach, it could be you in your relationships, it could be you with your family or friends. People don't normally do things unless they understand the why. Not even the how. It's the why. Why am I doing this? If you can successfully explain to somebody why they're doing something, you can probably get them to do it. And usually, effective teachers, they don't do anything without explaining why. It's been a long time since you could go into a classroom and go like, "Hey, do this," and everybody just does it. It's normally do this because, and then you explain the why. And apparently, nobody explained the why about homework to this guy. I don't think it's been explained to many people. It's not something that you learn when you're really doing this teaching thing. You don't really learn the why sometimes. You're more like, do this because my teacher did this and my teacher did this. And in the beginning, for me, when I first started teaching, I was giving out homework left and right. I was giving out homework every day, including Fridays. Like I was on that. And honestly, I'm still on that. I still give out homework every day on even on Fridays. But now I'm like, because I was going way too hard at first. I was doing way too much. As I got older and I started teaching more, and this is what I would have told the kid. I'm like this: first day of school, you're gonna have homework. You're gonna have homework every single day, including Fridays. I'll wait for the class to get upset and get all salty about it. Then I break it down. Number one, you're never gonna have more than 8 homework questions in this math class, ever, because I don't need more than 8 questions to know if you know how to do it. I don't need that because we're in class and we're working on it. But you got to understand that you're going to get homework every day because this is a 45-minute class. And there is no way in the world that we can get every single thing done that we need to in 45 minutes. It's not possible. So, for that reason, we need a way for you to practice at home. Now, if you think about it, if you want to get good at something, you can't just do it in that setting, because that was the beef that the kid had. He was like, you know, school is supposed to be where you learn, and then you're supposed to be able to go home and chill and everything. But I'm like, you can learn anywhere. And what you can't do is go like, I can only learn in school. Because if you do that, you're shutting yourself off from learning in so many different situations. School is the template to kind of teach you different methods of learning, but you can learn anywhere. I learn when I'm driving down the street. I learn when I'm talking to my friends. I learn when I'm talking to my wife. I learn from making mistakes in a whole lot of different settings. If I only learned at school, I wouldn't really know a lot because school doesn't last all day. You can't just shut the engines off. So, what I'm expressing is you're not getting more than 8 questions. And on top of that, there are going to be specific times in class where you'll have an opportunity to finish your homework. If you don't finish it, you can do the rest at home. But in a 45-minute classroom, there's just not enough time to do every single thing. Now, my daughter's teacher doesn't send home homework. She hasn't had one single homework assignment. And this is cool. This is A-OK. Different teachers have different techniques. And my daughter's in the third grade. She's in the same classroom the entire day, unless she's going to gym or art or something like that. So for me, it makes a lot of sense for this teacher not to send home homework. She has them all day long. They can finish all of their work and still have time to do other stuff. Once you move up to like sixth or seventh grade, it's almost impossible to do that because you have a math class, a science class, a reading class, a social studies class. You might have a Spanish class. I mean, there are a lot of different classes, and all of these classes need time to operate. So I can't just be like, okay, finish all your work in here, and if you run out of time, just sit here till you finish. That's not fair to the other teachers. So they're gonna have a homework. Some teachers don't believe in that at all, even when they get to older grades. And again, that is A-OK. But the number one thing that I would say is that you can't expect the kid to only learn at school, no matter if they're getting the homework or not. I mean, imagine if we told a football player you could only learn how to play football in practice. And once you get out of practice, you're not to work on anything football related because you're at home and home is chill time. That makes no sense when you say it like that. Same with basketball, same with tennis. Like it makes no sense when you put it in an athletic form. So why would it be different if we're saying it in an academic form? You can learn how to do anything pretty much anywhere. What teachers do is they provide the template for you to learn that stuff in other places. So when I saw the little guy talking about that, my main thing was a teacher just needs to sit him down and explain why they do what they do. Now, I make sure I do this on the first day with all the kids. Now, remember, I'm saying explain it. And I tell them flat out, you don't have to agree. You don't even have to like it. like it's cool if you don't like it. I respect that. But I'm telling you how we do things here. And there's no punishment for not doing the homework. Like, well, if you don't do the homework, well, you have to write fit. No. Like there are some consequences that are embedded in what you do. If you don't do the homework, then you're not going to know how to do what we're doing in class and you're not going to get good grades. Why add another punishment? It just seems kind of silly to me. But I've always been 8 questions. Try your best to do it. Even if you miss every single question and you have no clue how to do it, at least we have somewhere to start from so you can come to school the next day and you're like, hey, Mr. Parker, I don't get this at all. And we can start from there. But if you don't even do it, How do you know what you're good at and what you're not good at? That usually gives me really good buy-in with the kids because a lot of kids don't like homework, but if you understand why you're doing it, that's really the end game right there. Because, like I said before, if you can explain to somebody why something is the way it is, you're almost guaranteed to at least have them attempt it. And that's just true in life. If you don't understand why you're doing something, then you're probably not going to do it. It just doesn't make sense. So if kids aren't doing homework, they just might not understand why they have to do it in the first place. I've heard so many kids say to me, "What is homework for? Homework is pointless. It makes no sense." And I just tell them, like, this is to practice what we did in class. It's that simple. I want to see if you can do it on your own by yourself. If you don't know how to do it and you come back to school the next day and you say, "Dang, Mr. Parker, this is hard. I didn't know how to do it." That helps me out. That lets me know exactly what I need to work on in class. But if you don't even attempt it, you didn't even look at it, then I got to go through the whole lesson again. We got to start from the beginning. And do you really want to hear the same thing 2, 3 times in a row? I don't want to teach it 2 or 3 times in a row. So help us all out. Knock out these 8 questions. We're not asking a lot. It's 8 questions at the most. And I don't mean like, oh yeah, I hated this when I was in school. 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. That's question one. No, no. I mean 8 questions. If there's a 1A, 1B, 1C, that's 3 questions right there. Like I used to hate that. I vowed not to do that to the kids. And every now and again I slip up and I do it. And I'm not perfect. So if I get a student hearing this going, "No, Mr. Parker, I remember that one time." You're right. You're absolutely right. I slipped up. But every year I try to make it so I don't slip up like that. I just kind of tweak it a little bit more. And I feel like that's what this year has been for me since I'm not in the classroom this year. I'm able to really think about why am I doing that in class? I should do more of this in class. That's what I kind of been thinking about, kind of tweaking my stuff. So when I get in the building next year, I'm able to do my thing. So that's what I would tell the little guy. I'd just be like, we're doing homework for this reason. Don't expect a lot of questions, but expect it every day. But we're doing it so you can get better at what you do. So I would just kind of keep it simple. And I saw a lot of adults out there that was complaining, saying, he's absolutely right. You don't want to bring your work home and stuff like that. And that's absolutely true. But you're talking about work that you're doing once you know your job and you understand how to do it and everything. But once you learn how to do something, you got to practice it. Like you have to. Like I couldn't imagine a situation where I'm teaching kids stuff like math concepts or something like that. And then I just say, I'll go home. We'll work on this tomorrow with no homework or anything like that. What's going to happen is they're going to kind of forget the information. And then we got to start over from the very beginning. It's like working out for 2 days and not working out again for a month. And then trying to go back and pick up where you left off on those first 2 days. You can't do that. You got to start from the beginning. And what I don't want to happen is that I got to start over from the beginning with the kids when we were just working on stuff. And they could have just practiced so we could see where they were weak at. So I think that's kind of my thing to it. That's how I feel about the homework. And once you really get down to the core of it, it really shouldn't be such a big deal. But I mean, if it's a big deal to a kid, you just got to explain the why. That's the most important thing. And I feel like that's the thing with anybody. Just explain the why, and that helps out a lot. We're gonna go ahead and slide up out of here. Enjoy your turkey day. Um, it's mac and cheese time. I think the kids making the macaroni and cheese in our house this year. So, Jazzy, make sure you do it right. Simple and plain, cause we're gonna be on you if you don't. Pressure, 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 pressure. Hey, happy Turkey Day, y'all. Go Bucks, beat that team up north. You got a Cincy fan talking with LP. Peace out. Life is good. See you. If you're not ready for the conversation to end, I'm not either. Make sure to catch me on Twitter. That's a Cincy fan talking. Leave off the G at the end of it, and we can keep the conversation going. Also, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button so you can catch the next episodes. The episodes will drop every Tuesday. If there's a change in that, I'll make sure to let you know. Appreciate the support. As always, life is good.